News Radio 1580 WCCF. This is Charlotte County Speaks. Good morning. I'm Ken Lovejoy at 9:09, just about 9:10 on a Tuesday, July 15th. Our phone lines are open at 941-206-1580. Toll free 888-441-1580. You can email us. The address is ccspeaks@live.com. You can like our Charlotte County Speaks Facebook page and check us out streaming live on the web at WCCFAM.com, also on iHeartRadio. I'd like to welcome to the studios Judge Amy Hawthorne. Give it up for the judge.
Good morning.
Here come the judge. Amy, thank you very much, Judge, for showing up here. Now, you are a judge for the 20th Judicial District, which comprises all of Charlotte County, and what are the other counties it comprises?
Yeah, it's the 20th Judicial Circuit, and it's rather large. It's one of the largest, is the largest circuit in our state. It's about the size of Rhode Island, really, if you think about it. But it's Charlotte, Collier, Lee, Hendry, and Glades counties comprise the 20th Judicial Circuit.
And you are running for re-election in that position.
Well, I'm not being reelected.
Or...
I was appointed by Governor Scott 2 years ago, and I've been on the bench for a little over 2 years. Currently, I'm assigned to the Charlotte County Courthouse, and I hear criminal and probate cases. But I am up for election this year. The election will be on August 26th. I'll be on the ballot for that election.
All right. And tell us a little bit about yourself. Are you from Florida originally?
No, originally I'm from Georgia. I moved to Florida right before, back in the late 80s, and went to law school at the University of Florida. Graduated in 1993 and moved down to Fort Myers area. I currently live in Cape Coral. I've lived in Cape Coral for about 20 years. And practiced law there in Fort Myers before I became a judge. I started out at the Public Defender's Office in 1993, actually out in Hendry County, and I was there for about 3 years. It was a great experience. Got a lot of trial experience and working with juries and in the courtroom, that type of thing. And then I was transferred into Fort Myers and did some pretty serious cases in Fort Myers. Then I decided to open my own law practice, and so I did that in 1997 and started practicing, obviously, criminal law because that's what I knew, but then it kind of evolved into the family law area, and so that's what my focus was for about 15 years of my private practice. I still am a Florida Supreme Court certified family and circuit civil mediator, which is one of the things that I did prior to being appointed as a judge. I'm also a magistrate for the 20th Judicial Circuit on the foreclosure docket for a while. I did that part-time.
Kept you busy, I'm sure.
That was an extremely heavy docket. I was a part-time magistrate because I still had my practice, so I was still practicing family law, still doing mediation. But 3 days a week, I would go into the courthouse and hear foreclosure cases. And I would tell you that probably we would have 100 cases on a docket in the morning and 100 cases in the afternoon. Wow. And I did that 3 days a week. We also had a full-time magistrate who did that 5 days a week. And then we also had senior judges that came in and worked with us as well. So that was an incredibly busy docket. But
probably tough, too.
It was very difficult because, you feel for the people, the citizens who are, falling on hard times and, are going through this process. And, some of the stories that they came in and I heard from them were just, heartbreaking. So it was very emotional, very difficult docket, but it's, part of the process in the judicial system that we had to go through. Fortunately, I think our foreclosure dockets are getting a little bit smaller.
Thinning out.
Yeah.
Finally.
Right.
I see also you're a former adjunct professor at Edison State.
Right. I think now it's Florida Southwestern.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
they changed their name.
Yeah.
Yes, for several years I taught in the paralegal department there, and I taught family law and also torts. In the spring, I would teach family law, and in the fall, I would teach the torts class. And I taught here in the Punta Gorda campus. So that was a great experience too, because I worked with students of all different ages. A lot of times in the paralegal programs, it's not kids that are right out of high school, but sometimes there are people that are, want to change careers and looking for other options, and so they
Cops.
Well, I don't think I had any off the law enforcement in there.
Really?
No, I don't think I did. I had a lot of, legal assistants, people who worked in law firms who decided that they wanted to pursue the paralegal area. So that was fun.
Good, good. I also saw this. I asked you about it before we went on the air. You're a former member of the Florida Bar Grievance Committee. Tell us about what that entails.
Right. The Grievance Committee is a committee made up of not only lawyers, but also lay people who are not lawyers out of the community who hear cases where people have made complaints against attorneys. It's kind of the first step when someone makes a complaint against an attorney for an unethical practice or some other reason. The first step is you go to the Grievance Committee. The Grievance Committee investigates the complaint thoroughly and may take some testimony from the parties and then decides whether there is probable cause for the complaint and whether the complaint should go to the next level, which is to the Florida Bar for whatever procedures they decide are appropriate.
Mm-hmm. Have you enjoyed what you're doing in regards to being a judge?
Oh, it's the best job I've ever had.
Yeah?
It's great. It is. I really enjoy. One of the reasons I wanted to become a judge is I really enjoy being in the courtroom, and litigation is my passion, and the job that I have now allows me to be in the courtroom almost every day. And I'm also able to serve the community by doing that. So it's very fulfilling to me. I feel very blessed that I'm able to do this job, and it's just it's a really wonderful, wonderful job.
And campaigning for judge is a lot different than campaigning for, say, county commission, because you can't really get into specifics, being a judge.
That's true. Judicial candidates are bound not only by the election laws of the state of Florida, but we're also bound by what we call the judicial canons, the judicial code of ethics. So we're very limited in what we can speak about and what we can do as far as campaigning. We're nonpartisan, which means that anybody who is registered to vote in any of the 5 counties that cover the circuit can vote in this election, so it is it's very limiting as to what we can talk about.
Now, do you go to the primary, or does it go all the way to the general?
Well, because there are only 2 people in my race, it will be decided on August 26th. That will be the election for us.
Okay. And I guess since we can't really go into specifics on laws and cases and whatnot, why don't you take this time now and give us your speech? Why should we choose Amy Hawthorne as judge once again?
Well, one of the things, Ken, that I have really enjoyed during this campaign process is talking to people about how I became a judge and why I'm on the ballot. A lot of people, just from talking with voters in our circuit, don't realize that judges can be on a ballot. And a lot of times the first time they realize that is when they see the ballot, they get it in the mail, or they go into the voting booth and they see that there's a judge on the ballot. And so it's kind of a surprise, and they haven't done any research. And it's like we just spoke about, it's very difficult to do research about the judicial candidates just because we are so limited in what we can talk about. So I like talking about how I got to be a judge, and I'd like to take a few minutes, if I could, to do that. When there is a judge on the bench who, for some reason, ends his term on the bench before his official term is over. For example, if they retire early, then it's up to the governor to appoint the replacement for that judge. So what the process is, there's a commission. It's called the Judicial Nominating Commission, and it's made up of 9 people, and they're appointed by the Florida Bar, and they are lawyers and also non-lawyers. So there's anyone who wants to be considered for the judicial position fills out an application. And basically, it's anybody who is a lawyer who has been a lawyer for 5 years. So you fill out an application. Now, the application is extremely comprehensive. It talks about your background, your experience, how many trials have you had. You have to list 10 references. It talks about your financial. You have to provide some financial information. So it's an extremely comprehensive packet that you have to fill out the application. Once you do that, the Judicial Nominating Commission will investigate you. They actually talk to people in the community. They'll talk to your colleagues. They'll take a look at some of the paperwork that you've provided. They'll call some of the judges that you've practiced in front of to talk about, what kind of a person you are, what kind of a judge you are. They want to look into things like, have you ever filed for bankruptcy? Have you ever been arrested? Have you ever had a client sue you? Have you ever been in front of the grievance committee? Those type of things. They're also looking at things like, what kind of demeanor do you have? What kind of personality do you have? Are you the kind of person that is going to be able to, make decisions from the bench based on the law and the facts? So it's a very, very comprehensive investigation process. Then you go through an interview with the Judicial Nominating Commission, and it's with all 9 members, and they'll interview everyone who applied. At that point, the Judicial Nominating Commission will select 5 or 6 people. When I was appointed, there were, 32 people applied. And so out of that number, 5 or 6, I think there were 6 selected to be sent to the governor's office and for the governor's consideration. Now, once that process has taken place, the governor's general counsel does another investigation. So that's also a very comprehensive investigation where they contact people in the community, they research your history, your background, your financial history, all those types of things. And then they will make a recommendation to the governor as to who to appoint. So one of the things that I like to talk about is the fact that I did go through that process, and I was ultimately appointed by Governor Scott. So if people who vote for me know that they're voting for someone who has been thoroughly investigated,
pretty much dissected and put back together.
Exactly, exactly. And you know what you're getting. You know that I am the kind of person that you want to have on the bench, and who will be fair, who will listen to the parties in the courtroom, and who will always follow the law. And that's what you want in a judge. So that's why I ask people to vote for me, because not only do I have the experience, because I've been a lawyer for over 20 years. I was a magistrate, as I indicated. I had that experience, and now I've been on the bench for over 2 years. So not only do I have the experience, but I also have I've been vetted basically by a lot of people so that if you vote for me, then you're voting for somebody who is going to be what you want them to be as your judge. And
do you have any spare time? Do you get to have any fun?
Sometimes, not right now.
Well, yeah, during the campaign. What do you like to do with the family?
Well, we travel. We like to go out of the country as often as we can. We're both very involved in Rotary. My husband is the immediate past president of his Rotary Club. He's a member of the Cape Coral Gold Coast Rotary, and I'm a member of the Downtown Fort Myers Rotary Club. And so we travel a lot with Rotary. We've been to their international conventions. We didn't get to go this past year, but the summer before we went to Lisbon, and it was just beautiful. And if you've never been, I would suggest that you try to get out there. We'd like to go back because we didn't have much time to spend there. But so we enjoyed traveling. I also teach a program at the gym. We're members of the Wellness Center in Cape Coral, and I teach a couple classes there.
Oh, cool.
So that's...
What classes do you teach?
I teach a kickboxing class.
Don't mess with the judge!
And also a weightlifting class.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So...
Well, people, you can find out more information by logging on to her website, Amy Hawthorne, HAWTHORNE, AmyHawthorneforjudge.com. You can also check her out on Facebook at Judge Amy Hawthorne. And good luck to you.
Thank you very much,
Thanks for taking
Ken.
the time to come in and,
Thank you
and
so
tell
much.
your story.
Thank you so much for having me.
You bet. We're going to take a quick break, folks. We'll be right back on News Radio.